While the internet may be a hive of information and education, there are also much more fun things to do on it. No, not that. But rest assured, there are plenty of family-friendly ways to satisfy yourself online. From beholding the mesmerizing art of perfect penmanship and crazy culinary skills to the most insanely synchronized slinkies, buckle up and join me as we witness some people with the most satisfying skills. Squeaky clean. When it comes to satisfying videos, there's nothing quite like seeing a cleaning transformation. And it just so happens that I've got some of the best right here for you. So let's get our tidy on. First up on the clean team, we have a video from TikToker Critical Kicks, who is a 15-year-old sneaker reseller who also happens to have a talent for cleaning up the most downtrodden trainers. In 2021, he apparently found some bust-up Nike Air Force Ones just lying around in the woods. Now, my spidey senses tell me that he probably planted them there himself, but nevertheless, he gave them a whole lot of TLC. He began by scrubbing them with a little Castile soap, which is a plant-based soap used for a variety of cleaning purposes. He also got those laces looking fresh, with what appears to be some kind of bleach solution. Next, Salon Care 40 was applied to the soles, another bleach mixture which is typically used in hair color processing. Critical Kicks, however, instead used it on these kicks, saran wrapping them and getting them under a UV lamp. Now, the UV lamp doesn't actually do anything to whiten the sneakers on its own, but instead speeds up the process of the bleaching chemicals applied. These chemicals are trapped by the saran wrap, encouraging them to break down dirt, specifically the parts of the molecules responsible for color, resulting in a whiter appearance. And once they'd finished cooking up, all that was left to do was scrubbing off the Salon Care 40, ironing out the creases, and voila. Good as new! That was a little too satisfying not to watch again as a time lapse, am I right? That'll do it. Okay, now everyone, I have someone I'd like you to meet. TikToker Cast Iron Chris. And if you couldn't guess, cast iron is kinda his thing. Cast iron pans, to be specific. So much so, he calls his TikTok page his OnlyPans. And things get real sexy with his satisfying restorations. Just this year, Chris thrifted a 1920s Griswold brand pan. Caked with years of filth, Chris bathed the pan in lye soap off camera for 24 hours. This successfully eliminated the gunk and carbon buildup thanks to the lye's sodium hydroxide content, which causes all the built-up filth to dissolve in water. Following a thorough scrubbing, he then bathed it in vinegar for 45 minutes off camera, which worked to dissolve the rust. Afterwards, he coated the pan in oil and baked it for an hour, which seasons the pan and prevents further rust buildup. And just like that, it looks as good as it did in 1920. It's like a facelift for pans. If scrubbing isn't your style, then perhaps laser cleaning might be. Not only is it an environmentally friendly alternative to harsh chemicals, but it's also incredibly satisfying to watch. Flare Fabrication is a Minneapolis-based company that specializes in laser engraving, and they share their satisfying clips online. From key cleans to coins, the laser essentially shoots out blasts of infrared light, which only penetrate the contaminated area. These contaminants heat up and absorb the laser light, resulting in them turning into gas, or being blasted away by the pressure of the interaction, leaving the metal perfectly intact and squeaky clean. Next up in our satisfying cleans saga is perhaps one of the most satisfying, and it comes from the UK-based company Pro Carpet Cleaning, who, if you didn't already guess, specialize in carpet and upholstery cleaning. And just feast your eyes on these couch cleaning clips posted to their TikTok. Grossed out by how dirty those things were? Maybe. Satisfied? Definitely. Now, the company is yet to give away all their top secrets, though it looks to me as if they're using some kind of spray extraction cleaning machine. These machines spray a cleaning solution onto the fabric to break down dirt and other contaminants, which is all immediately extracted by the vacuum, resulting in removed stains and, well, some very questionably colored water. With all that filth lurking in our upholstery, maybe we'd better stand up and get to work. Or at least, watch other people work. Employees of the Month. Whether we like it or not, we'll spend around a third of our lives at work, which gives us plenty of time to become skilled at what we do. And it turns out, many folks working in manual labor industries have pretty visually satisfying jobs. Well, except for those working in the sewers. Anyway, so I've seen a few comments from fans of the channel requesting a face reveal from me. Well, here goes nothing. Okay, so that's not exactly me, but it's my identical twin brother, Thorin Bradley. With over 5 million followers on TikTok, it seems folks are really interested in wood chopping. And I have to say, with his impressive ability to precisely plow through wood, it's no wonder so many women comment that they are left feeling satisfied after watching his videos. And just to reiterate, me and this guy, identical. So, ladies, you believe me, right? When you think of road markings, you're probably not overwhelmed with excitement, but I can assure you that the process of creating them is oddly satisfying. And giving us a backstage pass to see the process is British TikToker and professional line marker Joe Pinney. Using extremely hot thermoplastic paint, Joe satisfyingly sizzles his designs onto the concrete. And considering the paint dries incredibly fast, there really is no room for mistakes, making Joe's job all the more skillful and all the more satisfying. Elsewhere on TikTok, construction worker ProAggie shares behind-the-scenes content of his construction work. And surprisingly, it turns out his cement work is oddly satisfying to watch. Just check it out for yourself. Yep, this guy is a smooth operator, as he finesses those blobs of cement into a clean, smooth rail. Who knew cement could be so satisfying to watch? The dog in the background gets it. Good boy, cement pup. Good boy. A wise man once said, "Work smarter, not harder." And there are few better examples of this than the next clip, which comes from TikToker and professional plasterer Putch8. With just one scoop, he's able to swoop the entire wall, as he efficiently fills every single hole in the drywall. With work this smooth, I almost slipped over just watching it. So once those walls are plastered, you're probably going to want to paint them, which can be tricky if you're not a professional. And one of the hardest parts is what the pros call cutting in. That is, making sure the edge of the painted wall is neat and doesn't cross onto the adjoining surfaces. On the side of caution, many opt to use tape, though those with skill and uncompromising pride need no help when it comes to this. Take decorator Alec, for example. Oof. With a loaded brush in his steady hand, Alec impressively glides along the wall and intricate woodwork with complete ease, resulting in a perfect finish and one heck of a satisfying clip. At least it's satisfying once you stop biting your nails in fear of him messing up. But Alec, well, he simply doesn't mess up. Moving on, there's nothing quite as unsatisfying as when you're peeling something and it doesn't come off in one clean piece. So you can imagine the satisfaction TikToker Artem Balog felt when this happened to him. Yep, as he put his scraper to this painted door, the layers of paint practically melted away into perfectly curled strips. And there are a variety of reasons why paint might peel like this. Perhaps water damage, a high humidity environment, poor surface preparation. Though, who really cares when it's so damn satisfying? There are some jobs out there you probably never realized existed. And for me, I'd never considered that golf clubs actually alter the course's layout regularly as a way to avoid foot traffic ruining certain areas of the course. And to do this, they have to fill in old holes, which just so happens to be incredibly satisfying to watch. Thanks to Pinehurst Resort in Carolina, we got to see just how the magic happens, which involves the groundskeeper inserting the earth, pressing it down, and then concealing the edges with green sand, which is commonly used to hide blemishes on a golf course. I guess you could say it was a real hole-in-one on the satisfaction scale, huh? Elsewhere in the line of satisfying work is leather repair. And let me tell you, this falls in at a strong to extreme on the satisfaction scale. Someone who knows a thing or two about this is TikToker Jason Quaid. Let's take a look at him in action. Satisfying, right? And having garnered nearly 9 million likes, it seems the people of TikTok would also agree. But rest assured, there's no magic to this disappearing act. Just a whole lot of skill. Jason begins by applying a vinyl repair compound, which fills in the gaps, and once cured by the heat gun, creates a permanent, flexible bond that is smooth to the touch. After that, a simple spritz of leather dye seamlessly disguises the blemish. It's a tried and true way to repair leather. Just ask Madonna. She's been doing it to her face for years now. The art of satisfaction. Artistic talent is a gift not everyone is blessed with, yet you can bet those fortunate enough to have been bestowed with the creative gene aren't afraid to show it. Luckily for the rest of us, it can be incredibly satisfying to see them in action. So let's get into it. For folks like you and me, a vegetable is simply a vegetable. But for TikToker Sculptor Jack, vegetables are canvases for his elaborate carving creations. Feast your eyes on this. From side dish to goldfish, there's no denying how satisfying it is to witness the whole process. Now, he's yet to reveal all of his tricks, though it seems he achieves these incredible artworks with little more than glue and simple tools that you might find in a pumpkin carving kit, like these handy ribbon tools. But if you're still hungry for more satisfying art, then let's knock over the first block of Tobias Hagahay's domino art. In 2017, he used over 20,000 dominoes to create a series of SpongeBob SquarePants-themed domino artworks. Ingeniously, when the dominoes were knocked down, they had been meticulously planned out to reveal images of the characters. But did it work? Well, let's see. Woo! Domino? More like Dama, yes. But I want to know, are you satisfied with this satisfying video so far? Let me know down in the comments, and if you're feeling generous, maybe drop a like and subscribe. Now let's get back to some satisfying masterpieces. While I'm yet to even master the art of solving a single Rubik's Cube, Los Angeles-based magician Stephen Brundage has mastered the art of making art with his Rubik's Cubes, 814 of them to be precise. After learning of Kobe Bryant's tragic demise in 2020, Stephen took the art movement of cubism to a whole new, more literal dimension and created a portrait of Kobe solely from Rubik's Cubes. Over a period of 20 hours, Stephen not only manipulated over 800 Rubik's Cubes into perfect individual color patterns, but pieced them into an awesome pop art portrait of the late basketball legend. An incredible talent and an even more incredible tribute. However, when it comes to celebrity tributes, Brazilian sculptor Juliana Lapine literally takes it to another dimension. In 2018, she created a three-dimensional, 7-inch lifelike clay replica of Lady Gaga from her 2016 Super Bowl performance. While the start of the process isn't so pretty, the satisfaction comes gradually as she sculpts from the bone to the butt. Eventually, a miniature version of the singer is revealed that I'm not completely convinced won't come to life at night and sing. And with meticulous hair and makeup, Juliana really does make this clay slay, or whatever it is you kids are saying these days. Next up is Ukrainian bartender and TikToker Vlad, aka the Slick Bartender. And as the Slick Bartender's username alludes to, Vlad isn't your average barman. With almost 10 million TikTok followers, Vlad shows off absolute mastery of hospitality utensils, but best of all, ice. And sure, he won't be raising a huge ice castle from a mountain anytime soon, but he does have quite the talent for creating art from ice. With his hammer, chisel, blade, saw, and rotary tool, Vlad exerts his skill and taps out insanely cool creations. From Superman to Amazon, there isn't much Vlad can't create, and subsequently melt. You hear that, Elsa? There's a new ice sorcerer on the block. Speaking of magical powers, can you hear that? Nope, there are no broomstick-riding, bespectacled teenagers approaching. It's actually a talented street performer spotted in Venice in 2017. With his glass harp and talent, the musician effortlessly performed an incredibly satisfying rendition of Hedwig's theme from the Harry Potter series. Check it out. Pretty mind-blowing, huh? When a moistened finger is run down the circumference of each glass, the vibration causes the glass to produce a note. Each glass has to be specifically tuned, which is achieved by varying amounts of water. The more water in the glass, the deeper the pitch will be. This is because adding more water means the glass requires more energy to vibrate, which reduces the emitted sound's frequency and hence lowers the pitch. There you go, a little acoustics theory lesson on the house. But you can, of course, just call it magic, and you know what? I'll join you. Speaking of magic, and more specifically the students of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, this next satisfying clip comes from gifted sand sculptor Leonardo Ugolini. Back in 2021, Leonardo took to TikTok to show how he perfectly replicated Hogwarts entirely from sand. As dry sand easily crumbles, Leonardo uses damp sand, possibly with a little clay sprinkled in for added sturdiness, molding and carving it into shape, eventually unveiling a stunning replica of Hogwarts. Of course, you'd be forgiven for thinking there may have been a bit of wizardry at play here. But it's not the only time Leonardo's proved his sand-tastic abilities. Leonardo also tackled Hyrule Castle from The Legend of Zelda in an equally astounding effort. As before, he began with just a lump of sand before meticulously carving out the sharp edges and spires, revealing his masterpiece. Even he shielded the sculpture with what's known in Zelda lore as the Twilight Pyramid, which protects Hyrule Castle from any invaders. Or in this case, any mean kids on the beach with a penchant for castle stomping. If you're anything like me, then your handwriting probably looks like it was scrawled by an illiterate caveman. Yet some people seem to have no problem, as they wield their quills and create beautiful calligraphy. Someone who is certainly a master of this is TikToker Made by Edgar, who is supremely talented at recreating famous logos. From Netflix to Nike, it seems that with his flat-edged Pilot Parallel calligraphy pen, Edgar is able to turn his hand to almost anything. Just check out this clip where he appears to be using an empty fountain pen on some foil scratch paper, which reveals an iridescent, sparkling effect underneath. Truly mesmerizing. But how might Edgar fare with drawing the perfect circle? It's a notoriously difficult shape to draw, yet this girl was able to create the perfect one in snow as she orbited her foot around her body. Swish. But is there a secret method to drawing the perfect circle? Well, the aptly named Circle Line Art School YouTube channel claims that if you anchor your hand in one spot and turn the paper, you can actually achieve a perfect circle. Similar to how this woman entered one foot in the center of the circle. Either way, I think I know how it would end if I ever tried this. Life of the party. We all have our own unique party tricks. Me personally, I can change my voice from this to this. But today's video is all about satisfaction, so let's witness some of the impressively satisfying tricks people have up their sleeves. Now, this first party trick is a real showstopper, and it comes from TikToker Lisa Price. Take it away, Miss Price. This party girl is able to impressively balance a party cup on her forehead while lowering to the ground and knocking back the drink. Albeit all over her face, but nevertheless extremely impressive. And it's fair to say her friend didn't have such an easy time with it. A+ for effort though, right? Ah, the Slinky, the childhood favorite. Only for the Filipino group of Slinky enthusiasts, Goody Zooty, The Slinky is certainly no child's play. The talented group have been posting to TikTok since the beginning of 2022, but their mastery of the Slink has already gained them over 2.1 million likes, and it's easy to see why. Just take a look at this clip. Through a combination of their skill, synchronization, and fluorescent slinkies, they create what almost resembles a fireworks display of slinkies. Truly mesmerizing. As impressive as that was, this next clip might just top it. The video captures Shaun White, no, not the snowboarder, who proves that riding a bike sitting down is way overrated. Yep, in 2019, Shaun flexed his BMX skills to onlookers at Fiesta Island, San Diego, as he glided along the waterfront, with one foot planted on the seat and the other steering the handlebars. Shaun rolled deep without a hint of trepidation, and here I am, still using my stabilizers. Here's a question. What were you doing when you were 11? Eating mud? Picking boogers? Well, Bella Gant from Pennsylvania isn't your average 11-year-old. Provided that, last time I checked, most 11-year-olds aren't able to balance a handstand while performing archery with their feet. Intrigued? Well, aim your eyes at this. Anyone else get a cramp in their feet just watching that? There's something incredibly satisfying, not to mention impressive, seeing her pop balloons and bullseyes as she shoots with her feet. So for all you mediocre 11-year-olds who can't perform archery with your toes, shame on you. Juggling is one of those relatively simple little tricks that I've never quite been able to grasp. But truly putting me to shame is the fact that some talented individuals can juggle to the extreme, with trick shots and tosses that are not only satisfying to watch, but will leave your brain in knots. Take Brazilian juggler Lucas Adverse, for example. Thanks to his impressive hand-eye coordination, the balls seemingly have their own gravitational pull as they orbit Lucas. After watching this guy, from now on, I'm going to have to judge people's talent based on how relentlessly they break the rules of physics. Keeping the ball rolling on impossible acts of ball movement, it can be surprisingly satisfying to see gifted snooker players in action. I'm not talking about simply ball potting, but rather those who have the sport down to science. Those able to pilot and pivot the ball around the table like Iulian Cernătânci. Take a look. While it might seem like some kind of sorcery, Iulian simply has skill, practice, and know-how, meaning he can masterfully manipulate the balls to go just about anywhere he wants them. Utilizing hits of super precise placement on the axis of the ball with precisely varied force applied, players like Iulian can easily navigate the table in just about any which way they desire. But if you're not completely satisfied with Iulian's skills, then check out the appropriately named TikToker Snooker Master 00. With total control, he can even create art in the form of snooker balls. Take a look. Crazy, right? How on earth did he ensure such an accurate path to not only sink the other two reds, but to land the final ball right there, completing the heart? I don't like to pick favorites, but this fellow has left my mind well and truly blown. As sharp as those snooker skills were, TikToker W2 Six Pack Chef is sharper in a more literal sense. He's a lean, mean chopping machine with microscopic precision. Just watch here as he shows off his knack of the knife and shreds a cucumber into insanely thin slices. Using a claw grip, he's able to annihilate the cucumber with his razor-sharp weapon of choice. Given that we've got a perfectly good video right here of this guy in action, why don't we all agree to not try chopping like this guy at home? I can almost guarantee that while you might be able to match his speed, you won't be able to match his ability to keep all of his fingers as well. Which of these satisfyingly skilled specimens was your favorite? And do you have any satisfying skills? Let me know down in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.